What would you do if one of your favorite authors make an Instagram post that they're gonna be on Comic-Con? Would you spontaneously book a ticket to London, or would you let this opportunity slip through your fingers? I don't know about you, but I immediately bought the tickets because I wanted to meet them and I wanted my book signed. But you know what the funny part is? I didn't know that Comic Con is gonna save me hours of research, help me meet inspiring writers and debut authors, and through their stories and advices, finally push me to start my own draft. So in this video, first I'm gonna show you a mini vlog how I'm meeting my favorite authors, and the second part, the important part, I'm gonna share with you what I learned in this weekend. And if you're a beginner writer, I strongly recommend visiting Comic-Con London. By the end of this video, you will know why. Okay, so we're here and we're currently walking to collect our pass. Guys, this place is huge. I don't know what we're gonna do, how we're gonna find everything we want, but it's really huge. Okay, so it's around 10 o'clock. We are inside. It's really big and it's crazy. I don't know how we're gonna manage to find anything, but for now our main thing is to find the main stage. I think we found it. To find where I have to be around 1 o'clock, and after that we're gonna have like 2 hours to explore to see what exactly we can do, enjoy and stuff. Maybe we're gonna drink coffee and then we're gonna go to the main stage. That's our plan for now.
Your books to everyone in the audience that hadn't read your books before, what would you say to them?
Well, if you like really sexy fae, who go to an academy, but they're adults, then you might like our books.
I love that. Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Hi. First, I want to thank you for writing these books and this world. I cried so much after I finished it because they're not going to be in my life anymore. So thank you for doing that job. I have a different question. For example, what can you say for every beginner author, or when you were really demotivated to write, how did you find the light to keep up writing and doing your job?
I think there's a lot of advice going around for new authors about like tropes, find your trope and write to this trope, and I don't think that's the best way. I think write your book exactly how you want it, and then you'll realise that actually there's a load of tropes in it that you can market it towards, but if you're trying to like push into something that doesn't feel natural, then that doesn't really work for you. So like if you're following your heart with your story, and one thing for me that always helps me to keep writing is I'll have a scene I really, really, really want to get to, and I don't let myself write it until I get there. So that helps me. So I'm not allowed to go ahead, so I just be like, I really want to get to this point. So that got, I mean, I wanted the end of book 4 with Victorious for ages, so that got me through the first 4 books, because I was like, I want to destroy them.
But it keeps you going as well when you have that too.
Yeah, I think getting that first draft and just not making it perfect. It doesn't have to be written, even if you think this is a pile of shit, just write that.
Write the shit.
Yeah, you'll go back and be like, oh, this is really good.
I love that. Writing with your heart, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So now we are waiting here for the authors to sign our books. They just passed and went inside. I'm so excited, and I think they're gonna sign my name on the books. I'm so excited.
I read the Zodiac Academy. I was really getting into the social career.
And that's how I made the authors of Zodiac Academy. It was incredible, guys, and I got my book signed. Like, I got 3, but like, oops. See? Now let's move to the important part, which is what I learned through Comic-Con. And okay, don't put me into writer jail. I didn't know that Comic-Con is about writers. Yeah, I know. So I know that Comic-Con is about anime, manga, books, but I didn't know that gonna be a specific like writing block, and it's gonna be full with panels and workshops, and I didn't know that I could learn so much for only 2 days. Actually, I want to talk about one workshop that stood out and I learned so much from it. And because that's the 3rd time I'm making this video, I made some notes because, you know, fun fact about me, when I'm emotional or when I really like something, I'm really like wanting to explain so many stuff, and then in the end, nothing is important and it's not the thing that I actually want to say. So I really needed to make some notes so I can keep this video really structured. So this workshop was about how to write your query letter. I know that the first question that pops up right now, it is like, you're in the beginning, drafting, outlining your novel. Why you're gonna go on the last step, like writing your query letter? I get it, really good question. And I'm gonna try to answer that, you know. One of the mistakes I did before, like my whole life, every time when I start something new, I am so passionate, excited. I start to research to see what kind of steps are ahead, what kind of journey I'm gonna have, what maybe the obstacles are gonna be. And this time I decided to start something differently. I wanted to go just step by step, not to overwhelm myself. But, you know, while you're scrolling or talking with other people or watching other videos, all the time things are popping up, and I didn't want it to go that far, like researching about query letters and the last step, what it's gonna take me to publish my book and stuff like that. But I was curious. I think if you're like me, like in the beginning of your writing journey and you don't wanna like overwhelm yourself, but you're still curious. And I was there, it was for free, it was like 3-4 hours workshop. I was like, okay, I'm gonna just check it out. If it's not interesting, I'm just gonna go with a Comic-Con. And I'm really happy that I went there, because first I want to say that the lady that was having this workshop, she was fantastic. Like, she was explaining so many things. She was going really deeply into every topic, question, and like questions that even were popping up during the workshop. Like, she was fantastic. And so yeah, with the whole purpose of this video is like, I want to share what I learned from this lady, and maybe I can answer a couple of your questions, maybe I can add more into your already knowledge, or maybe I can inspire you, or I can even help you and stuff like that. So I hope this video is really helpful for you. Let's dive into this conversation and not like waste more time. The first thing that she started was finish your manuscript. And I think that's advice that I hear a lot, because like how she explained it, usually when you're writing your novel, you have an idea, you know where it's gonna go, how it's gonna end, and you're like, okay, I can start like pitch to agents and to see what they're gonna tell me, if they're gonna like my idea. But the moment someone is interested, and they will want your whole manuscript, like they're not gonna be satisfied if you're in the middle, like it's not even finished. What she suggested, like strongly, first finish your manuscript, and after that start sending your career letters. And I really want to highlight something. It's not a race. It doesn't have to be like 3 months or 6 months or a year or whatever. Take whatever time you want to finish your novel, but it means you need to finish it, not like writing, stopping, putting somewhere on the shelf, forgetting about it, and after a year coming back and thinking, oh my God, is it good enough to show it to the world? Maybe I should work more onto it, and never actually send your work to someone. Like, if you really need to work on your manuscript, do it. It's not a race, no one is pushing you. But if it's like procrastinating and you're not trusting yourself, that's totally different. So next thing that she said that was really interesting, while you're writing on manuscript, it doesn't mean that you cannot start your research and collecting data. Like what she said was build a spreadsheet with data. And that means you're starting to researching different publishing houses, agencies, like with who you want to work with, who is your dream agent, or like you're collecting, like names, contacts, emails, things that it's popping up on their social page, or something that catch your eye and you like something about them and you're thinking that maybe this is gonna help you later. I'm gonna go deeply into that in a second. And she gave us 3 websites. I'm just gonna list them down below, and I still didn't research them. But the one thing that she said, it's a really good website to start researching and collecting data, not only through social media. Yeah, they're really useful websites. And she was even like, you can make the subscription for 1 month, take all of your data and then stop your subscription and just go through everything. A red flag, or something that she strongly suggested not to do, was like, don't get obsessed. You're finding someone on social media, you're going through their work and it sounds fantastic and you really want to work with them, and you're thinking that I need to work with this X person, and if that person is not my agent or publish house, I'm not gonna work with anyone else, or my book is not gonna see the world, or things like that. Like, it's okay to have favorite agents and publish houses, but it's not okay just to be obsessed and to be in a box that only these 3 people or only this one person is gonna help me with my book. It's not like that. Keep your eyes open and try to really collect data, to have a long list. And once you start sending your career letter, I think both of us, we know this process is really, really difficult and stressful because you have a lot of rejections and a lot of no's, or they're even ghosting you, like they're not even opening your emails. So imagine you're having only 3 and they reject you and you're so demotivated that you don't want to keep up with a career letter. That's not what we want here. Like, we have to be open, have a really long list, get used to the rejection and just move next, you know? Really fun fact that you mentioned here, if we switch from the opposite side, like from the eyes from the agencies, I think she said she had a friend from a published house and she's having almost 200 to 300 emails per week. So that means they're having also a lot of pressure, like they're gonna click on, let's say, 5, 10, 20 emails. So it's a lot of emails, a lot of pressure. Not everyone is their person. Maybe they're not gonna like your novel, but it's nothing personal, you know? So they also have a lot of pressure from the other side. It's not only on our side. Other interesting thing that you mentioned is, for example, you want to be like UK based. You want your book to be published in UK. Sometimes having American agents and starting first with America, it's not a bad thing because, you know, a lot of people are working with other clients, so maybe they're going to be like, okay, we're going to start first with the American market. Your book is going to work on this market and we have clients with UK. So if your book have a good rate or result here, we're going to contact our clients and we're also going to publish your book into a UK market. So yeah, wait, my notes, because I start talking a lot. After explaining this, she started talking about the query letter. I mean, I'm not in this step into my journey, so I cannot give you a really good advice about this. I'm just repeating something she said. So what you mentioned about the email was how to start it, you know, because as I said previously, when you're collecting your data, you're collecting information about books that they liked reading and you also liked it, or the same TV shows, or for example, let's say my book, it's inspired by Sailor Moon, and if they are Sailor Moon fans, I can start my email with, hey, I saw from your Instagram post that you're a Sailor Moon fan and I'm writing this kind of a book and I think you're gonna like it, so here it is, something like that. So as I said, you're collecting data, you're collecting things that you think that you can use later in your career letter, and it can be useful for you. Like, it can be your hook of the email. And that's where you don't have to get obsessed, because the moment you start going through their social media or through their interest, or you met them in person, you start getting really trying to find that specific thing that they're going to be hooked. But that's not the important part of the email. The second part of the email after your hook, it is the one pitch sentence, which I think is the most important part of your query letter, and not only on the query letter. She said that this one pitch sentence, first, it's a really good writing exercise because you really need to explain your whole book into one sentence. And she suggested that really needs to be really, really, really good sentence. The perfect sentence, like it really needs to be the good one. And she suggested to practice so much, like in front of the mirror, telling it to your friends, family, everyone on the street. Like, you need to practice it as much as you can so it can come naturally. It's not like salesy, it's not like pushing, it's like something you're saying every day as hello, you know? So why she mentioned that? Because, for example, you're on a Comic-Con, you're some kind of a book event, and you're meeting someone who is an agent or publish house, and you have one chance to impress that person. And you have one chance to sell your book, you know? So this is the one pitch sentence that you can use. So this is the sentence that it needs to be so good that the moment you say it, the people are gonna be like, oh, this sounds interesting. Really? You're writing this book? Can you tell me more? So they're hooked and you start talking about it. You really need to practice. She gave a couple of examples, and I think you can also mention the main character. Maybe you can mention the other two characters. Like, it doesn't have to introduce the main characters. Maybe you can introduce just the inciting incident or what is happening. Like, I really have to look for examples, but yeah, I also need to work on that, because my book is also like, my pitch sentence is also not good, because I was thinking about like Serenity, a 22 years old girl chosen by the moon goddess, has her powers locked the last 3 years, and the darkness, it's still spreading into her world where her powers are locked. Yeah, let's forget about that. My sentence is also not ready. So yeah, you get the whole point. What was the other things about the query letter that she said? Like, oh, I think by the end of the email, you can mention other books that are similar to yours, and maybe TV shows or I don't know, anime or games that are similar to yours, because by like beginning of your novel, you have some kind of inspiration, and you're even starting with booktube, so you can mention that in the email. And one of the things you need to do is, like, when you're mentioning other books into your email, like book X and books Y, it's doing well on the market and my book is similar to this, let's say. When you're mentioning other books in your email, like they're similar to your book, they cannot be Brandon Sanderson books or ACOTAR like Sarah J Maas or I know Twilight. It's not a problem, but it's like this huge already authors that they're bestsellers and they sell so many copies, and you're trying to be a debut author. Like, see, like the difference, like you cannot compare yourself with them. So you need to find debut authors or authors with 5 books, I don't know, like they're the similar level as you. And usually people are struggling with that. People are thinking that my book is the only one book and I cannot find a similar book. When you have this kind of a struggles, a girl from the workshop said that you can go to the local bookshops or the local libraries and explain what your book is about, and they can help you with finding similar books to yours. And here are some other advices from like the other panels, because it was more about meeting other debut authors, and there were a lot of interesting things that they said. The one thing that really stood out was all of the debut authors were through published houses. It was only one author, and he wasn't even a debut author. He was an author from like years. He was like self-publisher, and that's what he said. Like, and also a lot of authors mentioned that, like, being a self-publisher is having your own business, because you're being a writer, you're finishing your novel, then you have to, I mean, the moment you put it on Amazon, like the same day it is on sale, but that means then you're changing your hat from the writer to the businesswoman and thinking how to, like, paying for editor, paying for a book cover, paying for your market, oh my God, for your ads and marketing. So it is like, when you're self-publisher, you need to think as a writer, but as a businesswoman. So it's like the two are the same. And when you're through a published house, it's like you're only a writer, because everything else, you leave it to the published house. They to think or hire people or find people. So you're only thinking about how to write your novel. So that is something you really need to think what you want to do, because if you're thinking that, yeah, my book is not selling and I can just self-publish it and try from there, yeah, but that means you really need to work on how to find the customers, how to make them buy the books. And even they say that having a social media and a lot of followers doesn't mean that these followers are going to become your customers. So you really need to think about that. Everything else that they said was also interesting. Like, writing is a lonely process and you really need to find a moment to connect with people and to leave your office, leave your draft, and to try to, you know, have free time. And they suggested even when you finish your drafts, give yourself time, you know, like to just breathe after writing. And usually meeting people from the same places, like the same problems, it's really helpful. So Comic-Con, it's really helpful, or other book events, other writing events, like going outside, connecting with people who have the same struggle problems with you. It's gonna really help you because you can talk with someone about it and they can really understand your struggles. Because no matter how your family and friends are like really supportive, it's really different when someone else is having the same struggles as you. Other interesting thing that they said was coming from, because there were 2 panels. The first panel that I went, there were a lot of panels, but I went to 2 panels. Like the first one was with debut authors, and the second one was authors that are in this industry like 10-15 years. They said you really need to enjoy your first book, because first time it's really magical, really sweet, really without pressure, and you're writing your story because you're enjoying it, you have some kind of a vision, you're interested in it. It's really lovely, like it's your first love, you know? And the moment you publish your book, you already went through all of the steps. And the moment you need to write the second book, you already have experience and you know what you need to do, or what your struggles are gonna be, or where you need to focus on. So it's not gonna be the same as your first book. So all of the authors really strongly suggest just enjoy your first book, don't rush it, really take your time and enjoy it. And they even mentioned that no matter that they have a lot of experience and they also published books, that doesn't mean that they're good enough, or they don't need to struggle, or they don't need all the time to go through the same process as me and you. Like doesn't mean that they have already published books, that it's some kind of a, you know, like points, like people are looking at them differently. But that also means that, hey, you published a book and it was a really good one. This one, it's not selling enough, or it's not such a good idea, or we need something better, or whatever. So they are having other struggles than us. One question that came up during the panels was, do you need to be with this art bachelor degree or background to be author? Because as I said, on the second panel, there were experienced authors, and all of them, they had some kind of a bachelor degree. And the guys were like, no, like you don't need to have a bachelor degree. That doesn't mean, like, when you're pitching your book, they're not gonna look at your background and be like, oh, we're gonna take that girl because she's having a good background and she went to university because of that. And that's not what they're comparing at. Like, if your book is interesting and your writing style is interesting, no matter what your background is, they're gonna take it. So, and I was really happy that I wasn't the only one with this kind of a question, and I was happy that someone else asked that. Other interesting thing is that the authors mentioned was, it's really a struggle when you are writing your story. After that, you need to become an editor, because, you know, you need to remove the hat as a writer, put the editor hat and look at your story from different eyes and try to be critic and to look at it not as your baby and something that come from you, but something like it's a work that needs to be done and to be corrected. And then after becoming an editor, maybe you should be also a salesman, because you're trying to sell your book to publish house. So all the time changing the different hats through the journey, it's a struggle, and a lot of authors are having that. And even one of them said that the quicker you learn how to switch into different like hats, the better, because it is really a struggle to be an editor to your own story. And even it is a struggle to send your work to different readers and to have feedback, and everyone is suggesting different things that they need to be changed. And here they mentioned that you really need to think, these changes, are they really important? Do they really matter for your story? Are they gonna make the story better, or are they gonna change the story like in a different direction that you don't want to go there? It's really hard to ask for a feedback, to show your work to people, and to they to be critic, and you to take that critic and to try to be like, okay, let's see if this is okay for my story, or if it's not, this is gonna be helpful or not. And you don't have to change your whole story just to sell it. No matter what, you need to stand behind your story and to believe in it, because no one else is gonna do that for you. Oh, one thing that was really interesting to mention was you really need to be careful with choosing an agent, because if you're thinking that, oh my God, I'm gonna choose an agent that it's really experienced and he knows what he's doing and he's gonna help me with that, maybe because they have so many experiences, maybe they already have a full list with authors that they're working with, and maybe they don't have a blank space for, like, they don't have a space for someone new, or because they already have the experience and they work with so many authors, maybe they don't want to work anymore with debut authors. So maybe jumping into the experienced agents is not all the time the right way. Maybe sometimes you can find also an agent who's right now coming into the industry, and he's also ready to push and to try find authors that help him build his career. So maybe that is a better approach than going directly to the experienced agents. I think I said so many stuff that right now I'm like really struggling. But yeah, as I said, I'm not there yet. I don't know what's gonna happen in my journey. I don't know when I'm gonna start, like when I'm gonna go there. Right now, I'm still in the beginning with outlining my novel, so I cannot help more than this. I hope I was really helpful with that. I'm gonna be really happy if you tell me what did you learn, or what was helpful, or do you have other opinion, or you want to share something. I'm gonna be really happy to talk with someone about it. Thank you again, and see you next time.